Okay, in this video, as promised, I'm going to teach you how to rib, make the ribbed fabric, but I'm also going to teach you how to circular knit in preparation for knitting my super simple beginner beanie. And so what you do is you cast on the amount of stitches that you need with the long tail cast on, and you'll hold your circular needle like this. So your working yarn will be in your right hand, just like it would with straight needles, okay? And your old stitches will be in your left hand, okay? So we're gonna pretend we don't see these, but they have to be up close, otherwise it won't connect. So you have these stitches that are just straight, and we want it to be circular. So we're going to take this needle that's on the right side, and we're going to put it through the first stitch on the left side. We'll want to slip these a little closer. And we're going to do a knit stitch, okay, for the first one. Oh, I almost forgot something really important. So that you don't lose your beginning and end, you want to use a stitch marker. This is a jumbo stitch marker. I like the safety pin style because it's easy to take on and off, but you can slip it on easily. So you just put that on right there so you know that that's the beginning and the end, okay? You slip that needle in, and it might be a little bit tight with the circular needles, but that's okay, it doesn't have to go all the way. Take your yarn, go around that little tip, and pull it through. It will get easier. And slip that stitch off. Now, to rib, you're going to knit and purl. And this is 1 by 1 rib, okay? So that means knit, purl, not knit, knit, purl, purl. It's knit, purl, okay? So to purl, you want the yarn in the front. So you have to take the yarn through the 2 needles so that it's in the front of the project, okay? And you're going to go in this direction. This is purl. This is knit this way. This is purl, okay? You're going to go around the needle, pull through, slip off the old stitch. Now you're back to knit, so you want to put the yarn behind. So it's going to go through the 2 needles, and it'll be behind the project, and you'll knit a stitch. And throughout, when you're knitting in the round, you're always having to slip your stitches. But knitting in the round has the benefit of not having to sew it up, which is really nice when you're making a hat. Okay, so we know that we just knitted a knit stitch because we see this V, plus our yarn is in the back. But we want to purl a stitch, so we're going to bring it to the front. And we will purl. And because the yarn's in the front, we need to put it in the back so that we can knit. And we will just keep doing this back and forth. Every other stitch is a purl, every other stitch is a knit. Gotta do some sliding here. I'm just gonna keep doing this until I get all the way back to my stitch marker. And those, that your join right here, when you join in the round right here, it will tighten up as you go along. The first row is always a little bit tricky, especially in the round. But once you get past that first row, or first round, as it's called when you're knitting in the round, it gets easier, I promise. And these are huge needles, which makes it, I think, a little bit tricky. But the benefit of huge needles with chunky yarn is that it will knit up quickly. You have an instant gratification project. But if you know how to knit and purl, then you can rib. If you know how to knit and purl, you can do any knit stitch. You can cable, you can lace, you can do all of them. Trust me. All you have to know how to do is knit and purl, because that's all those other things are. They're just variations of knit and purl. So it's pretty cool. And when you're knitting a hat, I should mention that you need certain tools. You can't knit a hat on circular needles that have a longer than 16-inch cable. It will just be too big and you won't be able to join because there won't be enough stitches. So that's why you need these smaller circular needles. And then when you get to the smallest part of the hat at the very top, you'll have to switch to the double pointed needles so that you can start decreasing and making your hat smaller. And I'll show you how to do that when we get to that point. Almost done with the first round. Trust me, it gets a lot easier on the second round. Got fuzzies in my yarn. I've knitted with this yarn and taken stuff apart as I've been demonstrating. So it's getting a little fuzzy. But so far it's been great yarn. It's Yarn Bee from Hobby Lobby. It's just a basic acrylic, inexpensive, perfect for a beginner. Perfect for a beginner's first project. And even an advanced knitter, it's perfect for. It's just a great chunky yarn. Doesn't split easily, which is nice, especially for beginner knitters. I just want to get to the end so I can show you how it looks joined. So you can see that it's in the round, that it's now one piece that's circular. So because we casted on an even amount of stitches, we started with a knit stitch and we're going to end with a purl stitch so that we keep with the same pattern. Then you'll slip your stitch marker that tells you that this is the beginning of the round, and then you'll go into the next stitch and see how it's so much easier. I'm not having to pull. The next stitches just slide up real easy. And I can go a lot faster because the stitches are now easy on here on this second round. I can switch back and forth between knit and purl with so much more ease on the second row. But you can see just with the second row, you can start to see that rib pattern, okay? And it's one piece. All right, thanks for watching. Keep it up.